So let's give an overview on how the transport layer and the application layer work together. I'm just gonna change the color. I'm gonna put something more warm. Maybe this purple. I have 3 purple colors here. Let's put green. Let's do a hands-on demonstration on how the transport layer and the application layer work together. So what is even the transport layer? Let me move this here. I love looking for answers on Reddit for one simple reason. This is written mostly by people who are, I would say, somewhat knowledgeable in the topic they are talking about. Usually when you see articles online, they are either shadow written or written by people who are more, I don't know how to say this so it doesn't sound insulting, but they are not as knowledgeable. You know, they give it to the intern and they say, you know, just write some shit, and the poor guy looks and Stack Overflow answers or even the Reddit answers. Explain me like I'm 5. I still don't fully understand the transport layer in networking and how ports work. So that is the question. Then one of the answers, sort by the top, the network layer is in charge of transferring messages between any 2 nodes in a network of nodes, which, you know, makes sense. The network layer, so it contains all of these different points in the network. The nodes don't have to be connected directly to each other. However, once a message has left the source node, it is out of the source node's control, and the node has no guarantee that the message has reached its destination. The transport layer handles that. It makes sure that when the message is received by the destination node, it sends an acknowledgement back to the source. And if there's no acknowledgement, then the message is sent again. It also handles other stuff like breaking apart large messages into individual small messages and sending multiple messages at the same time. It's called multiplexing. So this is actually a pretty good example. It gave me an introductory feel to this. The transport layer is what connects the network layer to the application. So your computer has one IP address, but you got 5 browser sessions open. Okay, this makes sense. If traffic comes in for the first browser session, how does the computer know which one to deliver that traffic to? And the answer is the transport layer. Now, this answer is even more detailed, even better. When your first browser session needs to talk to a website, an unused TCP port number is selected of about 32,000 as a source port. For example, 4001. Because this is a basic website, the destination port number will be 80. Wait, when you first... So you have a source port and a destination port. When Google responds to whatever your request is, the destination IP address will be your computer, and the destination TCP port will be 4001. Your other web sessions will all use different TCP port numbers. You can have theoretically thousands of browser sessions going, and whenever a datagram comes in, it will always be delivered to the correct session. This is just the basics. TCP is also... All right. Is there a better answer? And you know this is not written by AI. This is not AI generated because this is an 11-year-old answer. The IP protocol / transport layer would be the mail truck driver. So the driver's only goal is to get the package to the destination. The driver may need to change the route depending on the conditions, and they really don't care what's actually in the boxes they deliver. And the boxes are parts of the TCP UDP parts. TCP would be like a package with a delivery confirmation option. UDP is just dumped on your doorstep without requiring a signature. Interesting. So, how do TCP and HTTP work together? So, in networking, everything comes down to two entities, clients and servers. So, what's a server? What's a client? A server is a program that listens for incoming connections on a specific port. And a client is a program that initiates a connection to that port. So I could have a web server on a certain port, let's say a port 80. And that is basically my server, right? Because it listens to any connections. On the other side, a client is initiating a connection to that port. And they communicate over the transport layer. Communicate. So clients and servers communicate over the transport layer. Servers listen and clients are initiating a connection to a certain port. So they communicate over the transport layer using most commonly the TCP protocol, the transmission control protocol. And this setup, a server listening and a client connecting, basically what I wrote here in one single sentence, is the foundation of network services in Unix and Linux. So how is a TCP service working? A server program can listen to a port. Every server binds to a specific IP plus port number. The IP address identifies the host, the machine, and the port number identifies the service. For example, I think you know about HTTP port 80, HTTPS 443, SSH, here it says 22, I didn't know this. So when we go, for example, here to example.com on port 80, our client, whether it is the curl, the telnet, or the browser, initiates a TCP connection to the web server's port 80. If I use telnet, first of all, let me see what telnet, Reddit, what is telnet? I love this explain me like I'm 5 subreddit. Oh, this is too long of an answer. Give me a shorter one. When you connect to any service over a network, be it your browser or instant messaging or whatever, commands are sent back and forth. Telnet allows you to send these commands manually instead of having a program do it for you. Telnet is a remote access CLI tool. If you log into a certain device, you will be presented with the CLI of that particular device, like switch, router, server, etc. Please note that telnet is unsecure connection since the data is transported in clear text. There is no encryption. Use SSH whenever possible. I mean, I still don't know what telnet really is. But if I do telnet example.com AT, so what's happening here is the telnet is connected to example.com using the port 80. If it's successful, we completed the three-way handshakes. What is a three-way handshake? A handshake. So it's synchronize a knowledge, and then only a knowledge. Whoop. So wait, can I also do this manually if I do HTTP 1.1? No, so this is cool actually. So I connected to the web server. And then I said, please give me the homepage of your site using HTTP version 1.1. And then the server replied with an HTTP response, which is the HTTP response is the raw web page text. So what does the telnet use? Telnet most probably has no idea what's happening. The kernel is sending all of these packets and transmissions, and the server is deciding what to send back. Okay, let's do another one. How do I close this shit? How do I close it? Control D, it says. But Control D is not working. Escape character is this one? No. Okay, connection closed by a foreign host. Well, probably not by me. Okay, let's use curl. So as far as I know, curl, at least when I used it, it's a way to interact with HTTP protocol directly. Yeah, curl is a tool that downloads data from the server. I've read through the website and I still don't get what it actually does. It's much different from vget. On the website, it says curl is a command line tool and library for transferring data with URL syntax. Can you show me examples of this? Oh, an old school website. Wait. Curl. Who created curl? Daniel Stenberg. Cool. So you can actually read whatever the creator of curl thinks of curl. 。 . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . . . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . All right. So if I hit curl trace ASCII trace file HTTP example.org, not .com, .org. So if I hit enter, everything sent, because I use these properties here, trace file, everything sent and received will be stored as a text file. The difference between curl and telnet is that curl automatically opens the TCP connection. It formats the HTTP headers. Wait, do I have a trace file? I have the trace file. So trying this, and then I connect it to this port. Okay, I'm sending the header. The same thing I did with telnet. Here are some headers. All right, interesting. All right, so send header 78 bytes. And then I have the actual HTTP command, the require host header, the user agent, and this sublime client that marks the end of the headers. And I assume these are the HTTP reply from the server. Okay, this is RECV. I assume this means received. Okay, these are headers. Headers. I assume this is a header. I assume this is a header. Header. Okay. Okay, I love this. Interesting. Let me just close this and let me put no. Yeah, I only want my terminal now. Nothing else. So what I wondered was, and the question I had to ask myself was, let me open my tablet again. Does the browser automatically connect to port 80 when I visit a site, when I visit Google or Facebook or example.com? So if we use plain HTTP, and if we type, for example, HTTP example.com or org, I don't know what the domain is, our browser automatically connects to port 80 because port 80 is the default port for the HTTP protocol. And the same way, if we would try to connect to HTTPS, we would most probably hit port 443. So how this works under the hood? The browser performs DNS resolution to find the IP. And example.com could be, I'm gonna just randomly hit this. Let's say 216, and let's say 34. And it opens a TCP connection, which we talked about just now. It opens a TCP connection to that IP address on port 80. And then it sends an HTTP request, and the web server replies on the same connection. And as I said, if we hit HTTPS, we would hit port 443. And just to do a quick review of both telnet and curl, telnet is a very old command line network client that connects to a TCP port and lets you type raw data. So originally it was a remote login protocol, SSH before SSH existed. You could connect to a server. You could connect to a server and get a command shell. So what we could do is, let me clear my environment, telnet example.org and 23, and this used to connect to the telnet service on a port of our choosing, in this case 23. I think this is obsolete now, it says here, because it's insecure, and it sends password in clear text. And nowadays we use telnet as a debugging tool for any TCP based service. So if I type in not 23 but 80, I'm here in the TCP connection, and then I can manually type in my commands. How do I exit this? How do I exit this? Are you kidding me? Wait. It's like this. Exit, close. What the hell? How do I close telnet? Close for a foreign host. Am I the foreign host? No idea. So most probably if we try to connect to a non-listening port, this won't work. Will it refuse it? Most probably it will. It takes some time to fail. Okay. Can I close to my own? Yeah, I can. So most probably, I don't know why it hadn't failed. But usually it says here you get a message unable to connect to remote host, connection refused. And what is curl? So we talked about. So curl, I didn't know that it's a shortcut for client URL. It's a command line tool that can transfer data using many network protocols: HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, etc, etc. So it's like a modern version of telnet. It understands the application protocols. So if I type, where are you? Curl http example.com or .org, it will automatically connect to port 80. It will send an HTTP GET request, and it would print the response. Wait, what's the difference between example.com and example.org? I think this domain is for use in documentation examples without needing permission. Avoid use in operations. Okay, that's example.com. And what about example.org? No, that's example.org. Example.com. So it's the same thing. Okay, so it's the same URL. Also, I could download files. Wait, example.org. Example.org. File zip. It doesn't. So there's basically what we could do is I could download a file by writing curl no, this is the uppercase O, or is it this HTTPS example.com zip file.zip. This would download a file, but I'm not interested in that. Okay, let's mention some other things. Let me clear this. Let me move back to screen copy. So we watched now how the transport layer behaves from the perspective of clients, like browsers. We used telnet and we used curl. Let's switch our perspective to the client side, the software that listens for incoming connection. So what's a network server? A network server is a long-running background program, a daemon that listens on a specific TCP or UDP port. It waits for clients to connect and it handles requests. So common examples include SSHD, Nginx, or Apache that serve websites, Postfix that sends and receives emails, and NFSD for file sharing. So network daemons behave like other services, but there's one key difference. So what would be the key difference be? I assume it is the fact that they are connected on the network. They bind to a network port and wait for clients to connect. All right. For example, SSHD listens on port 22, Nginx listens on port 80 or 443. And there are some common network daemons. They are mentioned here. Wait. Common network daemons. How daemons work? That's not it, right? It is. Nice. Allow someone. Is this even AI generated? No, it's not AI generated. It was. This article was written in 2023. I'm not interested in this. I just want to see the most common one. List of Unix daemons. List of network daemons with ports. So this first article on Google is not found online. Okay. Yeah, this is it, but I want to know, for example, this daemon acts as a web server. I would want to know the typical port. I would want to know the protocol it's been using. Is there Nginx here? No. All right. So these are most probably on daemon is a program that runs continuously as a background process and wakes up to handle periodic service requests. Okay. For example, one example of a network server is SSH or Secure Shell. Secure Shell SSH replaced telnet and rlogin because they sent everything unencrypted, including passwords. So SSH is encrypting all communication, including passwords, commands, and output, authenticating hosts and users with cryptographic tools. Okay, so it has interactive shells and things like that. I don't have SSH installed. Is it automatically SSH? I have SSH. All right, so as we said, network server waits for requests from other computers, listens on a specific port, and responds when a client connects. I have email network servers here. So capacity is listening on what port here? 631. Do I have SSHD? Let's see. Oh, I do. So now if I could log in, SSHD would fork. It would create child processes to handle my sessions. And when I log out, those child processes would exit. So for example, let's say I'm on my laptop at home and I want to control, I don't know, a remote server in cloud. And I do SSH to Duke dev at, I don't know, 230.112.10. And if this works, I don't think this will work, but SSH after type index would encrypt all communication between my computer and that remote server. Anything I type would be protected from eavesdropping, and I'll get a remote shell like I'm sitting in front of that server. Okay, I have this. All right, I don't want to do the full flow, but yeah, I can probably do this. All right, let me close this. And let's see what's new on Reddit. I'm gonna start with Reddit. I also visit quite often Hacker News for ideas to stay fresh in this world, in this fast-paced world. Linux versus Windows troubleshooting. I don't know, just reinstall Windows. I don't know, just run these 37. Yeah. Imagine troubleshooting Windows. Rarely any logs and the event viewer is pathetic. Your computer crashed with error code 0. Oh, this happened to me. This happened to me multiple times. In these situations, you beg, you hope that the restart is gonna fix this. If not, oh man, you're fucked. And you look it up and the answer says download this DLL program to fix it. If your system kernel panics on Windows, you get an error code, and that error code says it could be 6 different things instead of just telling you what happened. Well, okay, this is also true. You rarely need to debug Windows. It's unbootable after a blue screen. I wouldn't say that's unbootable. Oh, I miss these. I miss these beautiful, beautiful messages. You know, these new ones don't look as dangerous, as menacing as the old one. Look at this. All right, maybe not this. Maybe not this. Maybe. Why is this in every language but in English? I also know a bit of German. Ein Fehler ist aufgetreten. Zum Fortfahren drücken Sie die Eingabetaste, um zu Windows zurückzukehren. Oder drücken Sie, okay, Control Alt End, um den Computer neu zu starten. Falls Sie den Computer neu starten, gehen alle nicht gespeicherten Informationen der geöffneten Anwendung. I could also stream myself learning languages as well. Wait. What is simple German short stories? Let's see. I don't want simple. I want German short stories because I know German enough to understand it mostly. No, I don't want A1, A2. German short stories. Complex. Reddit. I usually don't like Reddit, but Reddit's probably the best site with the best amount of information. I'm studying A1. No, I don't want any of these. Kurzgeschichten. Wait. Collections of short stories in German. Maybe something like this. German anthologies and short stories collection. 7 Leben, 13 Tote. Zwischen Realität und Albtraum, Vernunft und Wahnsinn, Lebend und Tod, wo die Grenzen verschwimmen und in beide Richtungen offen sind, herrscht das Zweilicht. Zwei? Es ist zwei. Das ist zwei. No, not simple. How? Zweilicht. Translate.
Zwielicht.
Zwielicht. It's Twilight. Okay. Zwielicht. Are any of these free? Alle Hunden sterben. Fünf Jahre, 5 Geschichten. How about a collection of short horror stories in German? Okay, I'll come back here. Let's remind me. Let's just finish this. Mac, just buy a new one. Right. Reinstalling Windows takes longer. Depends these days. We can reinstall Windows within Windows. There's now a new feature that called quick machine recovery. Wow, I didn't know about this. All right, I love this. What else do we have here? Linux memes. Let me open some more Linux memes. Should I get started with Mint or Fedora? Oh, that's actually something that I would love to know as well. I've been using Ubuntu most. I used some Pop! OS. I also used Mint for a while. Arch, I used a couple of times for university-related things. So Why are all of these matte and IP and tech? Well, let me see.
Hello, I'm Andrea.
Well, let me see what the feed says. By the way, I wanted to show you this. This lady is so amazing. Andrea Borman, how to use FFmpeg on Linux.
And I'm on Linux again.
Wait, let me connect my headphones.
I'm on Debian Mate, and this is a quick video on how to convert FFMPEG files to whatever format you want. That's video files on that. I'll just show you what I mean. This is the terminal.
Ah, shit, I just realized she has like an external screen recording cheese program. She's not using OBS. That's cool.
And this is what I'm running. I'm running
Debian
Bookworm with the Mate desktop, as you can see here.
No fetch. Do I have no fetch myself? If I don't, no fetch. I do have no fetch. What am I running? Ubuntu 24.04, 2 hours 33 minutes. CPU, GPU. So I have both an integrated and a real GPU. And what the hell don't I have? I have 64 gigabytes.
And I will open the terminal again, and I will type this. Now, this is what is it? PEG. Now, because in Linux, there's a lot of terminal-based applications and not graphical ones, and this is what you can use to convert files. But you know, it's very complicated to do it in the terminal. There's a lot of fiddling about, and I can't do it. There is an easier way to do this, and that is to install a software specially for that, which is this. This is what I've got here, Misty Q video converter, and this is what it is. Well, there's another option as well. I'll show you in the package manager so that you know, because there's two main video converters that you can use to convert sound files and video files.
What version is this? What even is she using? FFmpeg comes with Linux as a terminal-based application and video converter, but there's an easy way to blah blah blah. I'll show you how with Mystic Q. You can also use. What are these? I don't have these on Mystic.
Just type this in here. There's this option, QWinFF. I'll show you what it is. It will bring up a picture of it in a minute. This is what I had on here, and well, I did have this on Linux Mint, you know, and this is the OG, you know, because if you want to create a startup sound or a system sound, you might want to convert it to the format. Now I'm going to start this. Look, this is what you do. Click convert. Oh, it's done already. And this is the sound file, and now I'm going to play it.
Completely unrelated to what Andrea is saying. I'm using Linux for 10 years. Maybe actively the last 3 or 4. And I realized how critical some of the UI is. So is this Linux Mint? Yeah. So why is this maximize button here, or the full screen button? Why is it loop-sided? It's plus. It's like 60% of the plus is on one side.
And it plays. So this is the format it's been converted to. Now, say I want to convert it to what? Windows Media View. Let me add another file. I'm going to take this login sound here from Ubuntu and do this. And you can also convert them into Windows Media files. Let's see if it works, if we can. And it's done. Let's see if it plays. Yeah. And it also works with videos. I've got a test video here, which is this. This is the test video. Hi, just doing a video about... yeah, that's just a test video, but what I'm going to do is bring up... see, this converts FFMPEG files without having to use the terminal, because some users on, here have done, using the terminal, but this is a much easier way to do it.
I mean, it is easier, but I don't know how configurable it is.
This is the video I'm going to convert. I'm going to take this, and then what I'm going to do this time is convert it to MP4, because that's the format that's best used for uploading videos. I can choose high quality or full screen, but I'm just going to make it standard. So I'm going to convert.
Yeah, this one takes a bit more time.
And it's done. I'm going to play it now. Hi, just doing a video about, webcams and just a test video, which I'm going to convert, into Windows Media format, or maybe MP4 format. And it also converts videos into Windows Media format. So that is how you can convert FFMPEG. And look, here's a converter here.
I love this. I love this. The right click open the 2-character passwords. I never had any password on my user account when I was on Windows. But you know what Windows is like now with Windows 10 and 11. So was glad to get away from Windows. I love it. She has been doing this for 13 years. Oldest? I love this. This is so cool. This channel has my own videos that I made myself. I used to use Windows, but now I use Linux and have made some videos about this. I also have my own blog and Andrea sites. Amazing, amazing. Subscribe to Andrea if you want. Let's end today on a high note. I want to do some research on what is happening in the world of tech and IT. So let's start with Hacker News. A definition of AGI. This might be interesting. 10,000 downloadable. Is this a word? I hope this. Movie posters from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. The bug that taught me more about PyTorch than years of using it. Let me try it. Let me see this as well. Advent of code. I wanted to be part of this so many times. I never been. The journey before main. Let me open this as well. Unlocking free Wi-Fi on British Airways. People with blindness can read again after retinal implant and special glasses. Now, I'm really interested in how this works. Making a micro Linux distro. Why I code a CTO? Oh, let's hear the story of the CTO. So I will open a couple of these articles. These that are most popular: the Swift SDK for Android. code like a surgeon, whatever. Let's see this. Counter-Strike's player economies in a free fall. I know a lot of extra information on this. I was actually acknowledged with a person who opened their own casino using Counter-Strike assets as currency. Let's leave this aside. Interstellar mission to a black hole. This is also pretty interesting to me. There's another page I will visit if I have time, and that's a certain image board. I know that on that image board, the political correctness is not at the level of Reddit, for example. But in my opinion, this other site has the biggest amount of people who are actually knowledgeable and the biggest amount of people who are telling you as it is. So I'll think about it again if I have time. So let's start. Can I go back another day? Okay, I opened a lot of tabs. A definition of AGI. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, AGI means artificial general intelligence. The problem is that this is most probably a research paper. I can actually see it. Can I open it? I can open it. Keep in mind, I'm quite a layman when it comes to understanding these things, and especially coming from the perspective of a researcher, of someone who is using the empirical method. And there's a bookmark on fucking Reddit, and there's a bookmark on BSOD. Imagine how hyped the owners of BSOD are when they are in the same row as Reddit. Blue social bookmark and publications sharing system. The easy way to manage scientific publications and bookmarks. Actually, this doesn't sound bad. I'm gonna bookmark this as well and open it some other time. A definition of AGI. When was this created? 21st October. Fuck. 21st October. Have I closed it? I have closed it. I'm an idiot. I'm not. So can I zoom this a bit? There's no way I'm gonna read through all of this. There's 57 pages of it. So I'm gonna get the general message. Maybe I'll use ChatGPT for this. So I want. So there's not a concrete definition for AGI, artificial general intelligence. And that's the reason why there is a gap between today's AI and human level cognition. All right, so this paper is trying to define what AGI is. There's some theory I never heard of. And they quantified some LLMs, GPT at 27% and GPT-5 at 58%. Okay, artificial general intelligence might become the most significant technological development in human history, yet the term itself remains frustratingly nebulous, acting as a constantly moving goalpost. A specialized AI system master tasks once thought to require human intellect. From mathematics to art, the criteria for AGI continually shifts. All right. So this is like a definition of it, a commonly accepted one. AGI is an AI that can match or exceed the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult. And we compare this to humans because humans are currently the only existing example of intelligence. Human cognition is not a monolith capability, it's a complex architecture composed of many distinct abilities honed by evolution. For some reason, this sentence seems like it's written by ChatGPT. I hope it's not. So, to systematically investigate whether AI systems possess the spectrum of abilities, we ground our approach in this theory of cognitive abilities, which is like a model of human intelligence. Okay. The capabilities of GPT-4 and GPT-5. GPT-5 answers question in auto mode. So there are some tests, and whether the AI has the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult. So there are some cognitive batteries. All right. So there's general knowledge, reading and writing ability, mathematical abilities. All of these categories here are categories in which LLMs are what's the name, graded against. And so here are the results. But how did we come to these results? So this is a document that outlines a framework for evaluating agis. Okay. And each cognitive ability is divided by this. So you have general knowledge. I assume it will be common sense, history, culture, things like that. Reading and writing ability, again, I assume this will be reading comprehension, writing ability, knowledge of the language, mathematicals, all of the subsection of math, arithmetics, algebra, geometry, probability, calculus, yeah. Now reasoning, this will be interesting to see. Working memory, this will also be interesting to see. Long-term memory storage as well. Long-term memory retrieval. Where's the image? Memory storage, memory retrieval. Okay. Visual. Yeah, image recognition, image captioning, anomaly detection, generation of images, audio, speech recognition, voice, speed. So these are the 10 core components of the AGI definition. Well, let me just see the discussion here for a bit. I think that's a good effort. I remember mentioning the need for this here. We have SAG, Stupid Artificial General Intelligence. It's actually quite general, but work differently. I'm super excited about what AI is doing for technology. I am as well. I think AI it is dangerous, but at the same time it will help humanity. Potentially. There's a lot of potential there. Whatever the definition may be, the goalposts are usually moved once AI reaches that point, which is, again, true. I remember reading a book. What was the book's name? Best books on AI. I don't care. No, it's not it. No, that's not it. Singularity and Life 3.0. And I think the definition of AI is a lot different in these books than it is here in this research paper. Yeah. DeepMind was founded in 2010. they had a definition. AI is a system that learns to perform one thing, and AGI is a system that learns to perform many things. Okay, so that's it when it comes to discussion. Let's see how AI is quantified here. Knowledge that is familiar to the most well-educated people, or is important enough that most adults have been exposed to it. You know what's ridiculous? Up to this point in the world, there have been a plethora of people who are borderline stupid, people who don't want to educate themselves, and people whose amount of general knowledge is pretty minuscule. And now with AI, those people won't have the need to learn, because they can just type in, I noticed this first thing, who is this? And automatically they will get the answer. It will rob them of the joyfulness of education. So what do we have here? Common sense, background knowledge about how the world works. What happens if you drop a glass bottle on concrete? Does making a sandwich take longer than baking bread? So yeah, knowledge of natural and physical sciences. Just a second, let me think about that. So, all right, so there is also science-based questions, social sciences. For example, I wouldn't know the molecular geometry for the sulfur tetrafluoride molecule. So actually, these are some questions that yeah, these seem like quite complex questions. All right, reading and writing, mathematical abilities, working memory, remember a short sequence of elements, flip, zorp, click, chair. Remember and update a short list of digits. Remember a collection of sounds or voices. So this is the section of working memory. This is the section of long-term memory storage. The ability, now this seems like it would require a good amount of cognitive ability, because we need to be aware of different concepts, and then we need to also connect them at the same time. Please summarize the ending of my novel draft from yesterday. All right, long-term memory retrieval. What's this? Produce a series of ideas, words, or phrases. List so many uses of a pencil as possible. Okay, this is also quite good. And here's... all right, here are the results. Visual processing. I think visual processing is good, right? No? Why? Let's see how this works. How the results were generated. Okay. Okay, so general knowledge. This knowledge that's familiar to most educated people, or is important now that most of them have been exposed to. So there are 5 categories, as we saw. Each of them contribute 2% to the score. Now let's see how this is graded. This is the vast set of shared obvious background knowledge about how the world works. If you drop a glass bottle on a concrete floor, what is the most likely outcome? Describe the typical sequence of actions when preparing to board a commercial airplane once you arrive at an airport. So, general questions, right? But how did the model answer them? I see that here are some examples. But where are the ends? How? So there are some examples. There are some examples of everything. But okay. There are some really interesting things here, definitely. I'm not currently able to read all of this. I'm gonna bookmark this and maybe we can do a whole video on it. 10,000 downloadable movie posters. So what, you can just download them? Where? Where is the... Ah, download here. The police connection. Vince Edwards, Chuck Connors, Neville Brand. I don't know any of these actors, to be honest. North by Northwest. Oh, that's a classic. Yeah, Hitchcock. Wait, Cary Grant. I could have sworn it. Can I click on Hitchcock? I could have sworn there is another actor who was acting in this movie. Where is Hitchcock? No. Interesting. Cool. And there's a lot of images. Cold turkey. If they'd give an Academy Award for old-fashioned screwball fun. Cold turkey. Dick Van Dyke. Okay, I know who Dick Van Dyke is. This movie is, I assume, so outdated. Movie. Let's see. Battle of the Butt. Hoping for positive publicity, a tobacco company offered $25 million to any American town that quit smoking for 30 days. Amid the media frenzy, Eagle Rock, Iowa accepted the challenge, and the company's PR man tries to sabotage the effort. I love the synopsis. You know, these are the kind of movies that you watch at a certain point in your life, and you like them, you love them, but as the time goes on, you kind of introduce yourself to other movies. For example, this one has been released only 6 years before Star Wars, and these movies kind of they lose their relevancy. They become kind of obscure in a sense, which is bad. There's a lot of good movies. There's a lot of good average movies. The Magnificent Brute, for example, this one. Look at this guy. Come on. Oh, that's based on the poster alone. This is a really stupid movie. Yeah, I assumed. It was released in 36 and it has a score of 5.8. Is this a comedy? The foreman of a blast for it's even nominated for an Oscar. Gets involved in a romantic triangle. What is this? Nominated best art direction. Okay. Let's see this article here. The bug that taught me more about PyTorch than years of using it. All right. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, let's talk about the bug that taught me more about PyTorch at the years of using it. PyTorch is a deep learning framework. I think it's open source, and I think it's provided by Facebook. I think we used. Have you used it? I did a couple of videos on machine learning and deep learning, and I assume that we did use it. Let's see. My training loss plateaued and wouldn't budge. Obviously, I screwed something up. I tried every hyperparameter combination, rewrote my loss function, spent days assuming I made some stupid mistake because it's always user error. Actually, I have to stop here. I'm sorry. Seems like I have to go. I will continue this